Alright, welcome back again. 3 streams in a row. What is this reality? It's a long weekend, that's what it is. It's lovely weather, perfect time to be spending time streaming inside. So we have a lot of things on the go at the moment. We're a quarter of the way to phase 4, step 4. Step 3, I think we're probably even closer. You've been chugging away quite nicely. You're running out of turbo motors, is that expected? Yeah, 44, 44, that's the same for those. Okay, we'll trust that I've tuned it properly. That means that you're actually going to be finished for too long, probably. Wait, no, that can't be right, we've only got 40 of them. I bet that I did my maths wrong and I'm going to end up with half as much as I expected. I think that must be the case. Yeah, I'm only going to have half as many as I expected, aren't I? Darn. Well, 50 of these will make 100 more. Oh, did we need another 64? Maybe my maths was based around making half of what I needed. How many of these have we got? Yeah, we're about halfway through on those. I guess we'll find out. Either way, we're just kind of waiting at the moment, and we don't know what we're going to have to do next. That's the thing, is I'm not reading ahead. I'm not learning in advance what I will need on the next stage. I'm just taking it as it comes. Obviously, once you've played this game a couple of times, I bet that's where people have those, like, ultra-efficient factories that they've put down, because they know exactly what they need to do at every point. I am tempted to hook up another oil deposit, just basically pave this lake with foundations, and just put a ton of fuel generators down. Simply because then that'll solve all my power issues for a while. Because we're currently safe. Like, we touch barely into the dangerous territory when that thing spins up fully. But if I can get a little bit more overhead, that would be nice. And also, next phase, we're bound to need more. We also have a lot more ground that we can scout out if we find that we're running out of things to do while we wait for things to happen. I also should have checked how many materials I actually have to make some of the stuff. Okay, I can only make a couple with the motors I have on me. I need to come back with a stack of motors. Then I'll be able to do that. I'm also going to need refineries, which also use motors. Okay, so my first lot of motors are in steel. I can only make 2 of them because of the steel pipes. Oh, I really should have checked before I came all this way. Classic. What about oil extractor? You also use motors. Alright. Let's just plop you down around here. So we're going to head off towards the lake, because I think we're just going to put some foundations over there. I think that's the easiest way to do things right now. Let's bring you over here. Which side are you? Yeah, good. We want a bit of distance so we can split things off, because we're probably going to need more than one. So, what are our options? Residual fuel is just from the byproduct. We don't really want to make byproduct for the sake of it. That would be if we were also making plastic and stuff again. I hope we could just make more plastic, I guess. Pure fuel, and then we have the polymer byproduct, which we can then turn into plastic if we want. It's the residual plastic, it just needs a little bit of water, which we can either pipe from the other side or just make another water extractor, that's fine. Or we can just put the polymer resin into the sink, that's the other thing. So use 60 to make 40. So we can just double overclock you rather than putting a second one down if I want. So we don't get a Mark II oil extractor, but we could overclock you. So a second one of those might be handy. It is obviously more power efficient to put down a second building instead. Because otherwise we're kind of eating into the effectiveness. That's right, we have Pipeline Mark II now. For all the good that really does me. Do that first. We have fuel coming out, and that's enough to feed 2 power supplies. So what's the power drain of this? 40 and 30, so 70 to create 500. I mean, that's a pretty decent return on investment, right? Bring you over here. You hook up down the end there as well. Yep, good. Ah, yes, MAM research. That's right. That was a reminder to me that yes, you've got all these hard drives. Do something with them. Alright, well, we'll finish what I'm doing currently, and then I'll be heading back to base anyway. So we're going to need... This just needs to split out, really. I don't know how much we need for a fuel generator right now. Let's get a 3x3 pad down first. And, oh well, would you look at that. Probably only needs 2.5, but we can't really work in half measures, so... Oh, well, that's one of them. We're producing enough to feed 2. It's also slightly downhill, which is nice. We could put a buffer in... I don't know if I care to, really. I probably should, though. I haven't left enough room. Well, so long as I fire this up at all at the same sort of rates, then the buffer is the outage bit there. And we just hope that that's enough. Right. Oh, you're a bit stuck. Are you literally stuck on the foundation? You are, okay. Be free. Be free, my child. I wish you could do zoop in 3 dimensions, like spread it that way as well. But you can't. Let's put a junction in down the bottom here. Because we're going to want to split off. And then first things first, do that. Right, and then we're going to want a lifter, which is of course clipping. And bring that this way. And we'll put a container down first to catch it. And then we're just going to send that to the sink, I think. Rather than doing anything with it immediately. Do that. And we're going to put that on square. Nice. Nice and tidy. Oh, why am I Mark 2? I don't need Mark 2. Mark 1. There we go. So that's the 30 polymer resin coming out the back. Which, for now, will just go merger in line. And conveyor belt is too long. Of course it is. That's alright, we can bring it as far as this first. And then pull it in. There we go. That'll just rip it out faster than it can fill up. Nice. What's conveyor belt 5? Just aluminium sheets. Nice. So I can just do that for the sake of it at some point. Alright, so that's 1, and then... Do I have enough to make 2? Oh, I think I did. Oh, perfect. Just enough to make 2. Love it. I like that. Put another junction down. It's not showing me lined up this way for some reason. That's weird. Because it is. Good. And now we just fire up each in turn. First, start pumping. Then, start refining. And then, start generating. It'll take a little while before it gets going. Right, you are underway. You will make 40. Bang. I'm actually going to chuck this in. Just for fun. I've got them anyway. Just for fun. Just to double the initial output. Just so we can start filling up those pipes a little bit quicker. They're already working. Good. Now we stop it, so we don't want it backing up hugely. And then we need to get some more motors so we can build 2 more fuel generators. And we can spread them out into the lake. We can just expand this out. We can overclock each of these. Yeah, it eats into the efficiency, but we need to overclock that. We don't have to. We can put down a second refinery instead. You are getting stuck again. What are you doing? Is it because you can't actually swim? How about we do that? Yeah, there you go. You are now free again. So stupid. Stupid animals. How about we just do this while we can? He's going to be so annoying, isn't he? Okay, go around, and then I'll place down another lot. Nope, doesn't want to go around. Come on. I'd probably just need to kill him to get him out of the way, to be perfectly honest. Or I go away and come back and hope that he's like respawned, like reset somewhere else. I think that's probably the strat. Rather than just staring at him walking around. That's not helping anyone. Right, well for now that's an extra 500 megawatts on our power. So that's nice. It's a good start. Why aren't I going as fast as normal along here? Feels like I'm going slower. Is it because I was looking at my map? Be funny if that made a difference. Okay, how are you going? So, let's think through this. If this is a 2 to 4, then we've got 26, we'll only make 50 more of these, right? And that's only 126. Yep. Alright, so we need 64 of these. So let's put those in there now. Those in there. We will need in total another, well, if it's 64 of those, it's 3 64s on that, so it's 128, 192. I've already put a bunch in there, but let's just stack that up because it doesn't matter. Now the problem is going to be this, is if my maths has been wrong, I might need to make more of these again first, which means I'm going to have to use this for that. So that's annoying. Either way, we've got, yeah, 80 in here at the moment. We can put those in the space elevator, at least to show that we're making some progress. We're a third of the way there. First, hard drive. Aluminium rods, that's interesting. Okay, 1 aluminium to 7 rods. I mean, that is quite nice. Alternate electromagnetic connection rod. Oh. Removes the need for AI limiters directly, but it's a high-speed connector instead. I don't think that's better, because AI limiters are easier to make, I feel. That's interesting, though. I'm going to rescan and see what I get. Turbo pressure motor. Okay, so motors still. So instead of cooling systems, we need pressure conversion cubes. Okay, I think not. Those are annoying to make. And instead of the drone control module, it's packaged nitrogen gas. And instead of rubber, it's stators. That's a lot of different ingredients. Or infused uranium cell. So it uses half as much. No longer uses sulfuric acid. Uses sulfur as a, like, raw material, but that's easier to move around. And silica. Silica is on the way to the uranium from the sulfur, so that's like a double thing. And quick wire, and I don't think there's any deuterium nearby. But that is easier, and there's no byproduct. It makes 20 per minute instead of 25, but okay, well if I even need uranium, if I even need that power, that could be handy. So what do we favor? Even faster upgrade speed or even more slots? I think we'll keep them even.
Dimensional expansion increased to 400%. Parts can now be stored as elementary particles in a hyperdense deconfined state. Normally I'd explain the basic science, but I don't think this one can be simplified enough for you to understand.
We composed a
Fair.
growth song, but you composed a shrink song, so we remain silent.
Sorry?
The dance of your bones and organs and veins amuses us.
I understand.
You're welcome.
Seeing the pioneer perform tasks also amuses me.
Oh, you have so much in common. Just kiss already, whatever the digital equivalent is. Alright, let's take another stack of those. We also now need more Mercer spheres, because we've only got half of what we need for one more tech thing, but that's fine. Did I set a new hard drive going? I did not. Let's do that. And now, let's double check on how progress is over here. I'll also need diffused modular frames, that's right. I think I have some in here. I should have picked those up as well. Yeah, I don't have any in there. Okay. Well, let's take a votive offering of these. Ah, you've ground to a halt. You need more modular frames. So let's drop off these first. And yeah, take an offering of heavy modular frames to be able to turn into fused modular frames. And hopefully I've already got some there. But at least if we do an exchange, then we shouldn't run out. Yeah, because you have ceased. Have a stack. But you have left some behind. Good. And there was one in storage. And we can now actually do this. And while I'm here... Perfect. Put those in. Just to keep these ticking over as well. Nice. See, this is going much faster than it was last time. So I wonder if it's because I was looking at my map in the tube, and maybe that slowed things down somehow. Kind of funny if so. Yeah, because you're now down to 14. Let's chuck you in there, and chuck you in there. And that can feed through to produce the number that I need. So I have 20 in there at the moment. We've got 150, 200. Maybe that is enough, actually. 200 of those should produce 160 of those. Maybe it is enough. We'll find out. Let's chuck the 24 in here. Just for shiggles. Now, what's our power looking like? We have an extra 500 megawatts to play with. So even at full chat, this, which is very noisy, I wonder, are we brave? Are we brave? Do we go 0.3? It won't do it for this one, it'll do it for the next one. It's a bit of a gamble because we're committed. An extra 700 megawatts there. We've definitely got the overhead now. Now let's go play with the power network a little bit more. That thing takes so long to make anything anyway, that by the time we get back, by the time it gets a chance to break anything, I can have 2 more fuel power plants up and running anyway. At least 2. I hope no one gets travel sick, motion sick, watching me zoom through the hypertubes. It is a little bit disorienting, but if I don't feel it, I hope that others don't, because I would normally. So minimum we can overclock this. Oh, this is producing 120 already, and then this is only using 60. Yeah, if we immediately put down 2 more. Ah, yes, the creature has reset. That's what I wanted to see. What's annoying is where the power thing is. I wish I could put it 45 degrees. But we can have it just face this way. So it's annoying where the power thing is. But let's just line this up like that and like that. There we go. And then we can just have a pipeline junction there. A pipeline junction here. We now need to move the power poles. Ah. Oops. That was silly of me. Or I just have it going along the side until we actually get to this point. Wait, did I not actually place you down? Oh, that's weird. The junction snapped. Oh. Oh, the junction doesn't snap. That's the thing. That's awkward. Yeah, the junction just doesn't snap. Okay, we'll do about that. I think that's about right. And then this is now pretty much straight. We just go straight along to this point here, and now we have to do that. Now, you need to bump up, and we're going to overclock you. Well, not, we're going to sober sleep you, rather, temporarily. Yeah, why do you not have much in there? You've got all of it because you're coming straight in, and then it's got a lot of other pipes to fill up. That's the problem. I guess that's the thing of having a buffer, isn't it? Really? That's, yeah. I wish the buffers had more than one entrance, one exit. The industrial ones, I think it should have 4 connections, so you can put it in and then split it. That'd be quite nice. Failing that, we just need to saturate the pipes a little bit more. Oh, there we go. The batteries did get used. Ooh, interesting. Because these aren't hooked up yet. These do have fuel coming in, but they're not actually hooked up yet. Oh, that's very interesting. So, we can just string that along. Let's do... we need to upgrade this. What does 3 use? High-speed connectors. Wow, okay. That's a bit excessive. Let's bring you down. Where did I put that one? Around here. Yeah. Okay. And that could actually connect there instead, to be honest. But I don't want to disconnect it right now because, yeah, we're eating into our batteries. We're still eating into our batteries. How much power does that thing use? Okay. That's concerning. Oh. It's because we Soma Slooped this too. That's now 300. That doesn't help. Well, hopefully these still get full. There's enough fuel in the pipes at the moment anyway, so that's fine. Alright. And then we would need a second refinery to extend this even further. We've got to remember we have a maximum of 300 in the flow rate, but because this is only dealing in like 80, that's not a problem. Even 2 will only be 160, so that's fine. You're producing 60 per minute polymer resin, that's coming out at 60 per minute, so that's fine. Let's go refinery. There we go. Let's do that. And then have a merger there. Is that might be... Not sure this is going to connect. Oh, I did it at the wrong height. I did it at the wrong height. That's on me. Okay. Hopefully connect? No? Really? Rude. Okay, you know what I can do though? Is disconnect this for a second and put the merger on top. Like that. Then do that. And then do this just facing this way, and it'll just clip awkwardly, and I don't care. It actually doesn't. So that's good. I'm going to take all of those out and stick them in there myself just to prevent that having a backup. Because they are, when I Soma Slooped it, that would have backed up. Okay. Okay, well our batteries are back at 100. But we needed that extra 1,000 megawatts, it turns out. That's crazy. Yeah, maximum consumption is now 7,400 and our production is only 6,151. We can also overclock these and they just overclock linearly, I'm fairly sure. So we don't have to build 4 more. We can just build, with the extra refinery, have that feeding in here. We can even just feed it into this flow part here, actually. Kind of like that. Let's just do that. And then have you connect up like so. and the petroleum stuff just goes underneath. That's ugly. You know what? If we... Oh, we don't want to get rid of the junction, though. I want to be able to go up a little bit, and then over. What if I put it into that one? Nope, that looks even worse. It's fine. It doesn't matter about clipping. That's just the excess anyway. If we really want to, we could put a lifter on the back of the container anyway. We could also just make it a double container just for the sake of it, and then we've got the two inputs anyway without them merging. That's fine. Alright, so now you need to be overclocked. So you can do 240. So you will remain full, 120. You will make fuel at a rate of 120. Connect you up. Where are you? Down the back. That's right. So we have you there, you here. Honestly, you can just connect up directly. That's fine. Fire you up. So you use 75, which is an entire coal power plant, but only a quarter of a fuel power plant. Well, less than a quarter, actually. No, more than a quarter. Quarter will be 62.5. So now we've got 80 and 80. Yeah, you're coming out 60 per minute. You're not coming out fast enough. Oh, because you're a lifter Mark 1, aren't you? Not anymore. We want you out of here as fast as you can move. So let's actually just do that, because I never want you backing up. Let's just make sure that you come out faster. That means it can also, like if I soma sweep either of these as well, which I could do for both of them, but then the consumption goes to 300, which completely negates an entire fuel. So this should now fill up nicely. But that means we can also now just go double. And double. And double. I know I could also look at turbo fuel. I honestly can't be bothered. That seems more hassle than it's worth. Because then I need to get sulfur into the mix as well. So my production is now almost 7,000. My maximum consumption is still above that. But that's fine. These now make quite a whirring noise. The animation is going to struggle if I push them any harder. That's cool because I can't do much more with them anyway. Alright, and then we've got another oil patch here that we could do exactly the same thing and make another 4 in order to power even more. So it just needs 1 extractor double overclocked, 2 refineries double overclocked. So what have we got? 100 megawatts and 75 and 75 is 250. Okay, so 250 megawatts. So an eighth of the power to produce the fuel is used up by the fuel generators. That could be reduced if we weren't double overclocking these, if we had 4 refineries instead. Because then it would be 120. Be 120 and 100. Or if we like pulled in the second one into here instead of overclocking this by double. But it's like, well, why bother? You know, that's fine. Just to let it happen. That's fine. Alright, as long as we've got enough motors and stuff. Yeah, looks like it. We've got lots of power shards. I haven't been using them for ages. Refineries. So, 2 refineries. So we'll do you there. Surface is too uneven apparently. Well, that's annoying. Only if I put it exactly there. If I move it even slightly. That's exactly the same. It's the same place, you idiot. Whatever. Right, and then we want a junction around here. Just going to be going through the plant. Well. I don't think I care about a buffer again. It is going slightly uphill this time, but... I mean, if we fire this up first... You are a very congested power pole. Well, I do have the ability to upgrade these now. Quite easily. And then we probably want to... If we send this over here first as a bit of distribution, connect that up there, fire you up first, and then send you down this way, and then fire you guys up a bit later. We don't want to join into the same network over here, I don't think. We have the merger there. We could actually. Yeah. Let's actually redo this a little bit. So... How do we want to do this? Because this one can go into a bottom input. Alright, so let's just quickly rip it all out and put it all back together again. So do that. Whoops. There, Mark II. Like so. Mark II. Let's make it a 3, in fact. Like so. And then we have a merger at this point. Right. Because this can be a lifter Mark II, and we can face it this way at about that height there. That's... Then put the merger on top. Just straight away. There we go. And then Mark III. Doing that. Then we can actually make that Mark IV. You know what? Because we can, let's make this all Mark IV now. And then this isn't actually joining up to anything now. Right. So that comes in here nice and quickly. Are these lifters Mark IV? No, they're only Mark III. So Mark IV, Mark IV. And you're a conveyor belt Mark IV already. We can actually do Mark V. Because why not? Mark V, there we go. It's going in there as fast as it possibly can. Excellent. So now, you are already backed up. Perfect. You guys produce fuel at double. You produce fuel at double. And then we're not going to feed into that network because that'll just complicate matters. But we can go 3, 1, 2, 3. Need just a big 6x6 grid. Let's just do that so we can see the boundaries. Alright. And then fuel power. Base them all inwards. Having them all in series, don't know if that's the best thing or not, but hey, it works. It's fine. Now let's push them all back. So they won't be at the same level as the others, but that's fine. There. And then that looks to be centered there. Not too far away from the power lines. Come on. Good. You're centered there. And then you are centered there. Pipeline. Junction. In between. In between. Connect. This is where having the blueprints would be handy, I guess. And then run this all the way down the end here. Pipe is too long, apparently. Oh, By 1. That's absurd. Fine. I should have put them just 1 bit further in. That's fine. You know what? I could actually put a buffer. We can be responsible for this one. Makes no difference, really. But hey, so let's be responsible here, shall we? I'm not going to have enough copper sheets, am I? That's a bit of a problem. Oh, and this can't perch on the edge there anyway. Okay, you know what? It doesn't matter. But yeah, I'm not going to have enough copper sheets to finish this off, I don't think. Oh, maybe I will. Well, let's go as far as that. And then we can go as far as this. Oh, we could actually have the junction at this point, maybe, for each of those. No, we want to have the junction nice and close to these, actually. We have the junction around there. Is that going to be in line? Ultimately. It's not going to snap because there's no foundations there. Oh, I think we have just enough. Oh, good. We have just enough to hook it all up. That's funny. Right, let's power these and get them started. We can actually pull you over here as well. Just so we have a double sort of connection. Why are you a Mark II? I didn't mean to make you a Mark II. Are you also a Mark II? You do not need to be a Mark II. Yeah. Downright. It was just because I upgraded you that the next ones became Mark IIs. You also do not need to be a Mark II. Are you already a Mark I? Oh, it must depend on what you pull it from, because I pulled it from that one. It became Mark II. Okay. Well, you only need to be a Mark I as well, but we might want to split you off, so that's fine. We'll allow it. Alright, and then power line. Pull you along here. Of course they're at the back. That bothers me unreasonably that they're at the back. But we can pull you along here. And then go. It's the same amount of cable the whole way, isn't it? It really doesn't matter. It uses one cable regardless. Alright. Now, is there fuel in these lines yet? There is. Good. 38. Half as much because it is splitting off, of course. But it'll catch up. It's getting there. Okay, well, we can hook up the front ones first because they have the most fuel in the pipes. You have the 50. And then you also have the 50 now. Good. And that is another... Oh yeah, and overclock. Of course. Did I overclock those? I think I did. And once again, like a quarter of the... No, it's only an eighth, I think. An eighth of what's being produced will go into the production. But that's acceptable. Yeah, because it's 75 and 75, 150. Plus the 100 from this. 250, making 2,000. Nice. And that means that our production is now almost at 10,000 megawatts. Excellent. You are churning away. How many coupons do we have anyway? 51 printable coupons. Yeah, we'll print those out. Because I can put those away. I don't know if there's a maximum. Just in case. I don't want to run afoul of it if there is. How are you? Good. You're still doing fine. And then we have the excess fuel going over here for you. Nice. We're in a pretty stable position right now. Ready for the next phase to completely destabilize it again, no doubt.